Brethren lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to brand a new video. We're going to be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Moises Caicedo, Julian Brandt, and Declan Rice. Three priorities for us in the midfield in the summer, according to Fabrizio Romano. Moises Caicedo has signed a new deal, but that doesn't change anything about the summer plan. We're going to be diving into that. Declan Rice is not going to be part of West Ham when they go down. That is a massive boost for Arsenal in this title race. And not in the title race, but in the transfer race. And of course, we're going to be talking about Julian Brandt. According to one of the directors at Borussia Dortmund, Hans Joachim Watze, there are no talks with Julian Brandt to sign a new deal. Arsenal want him. They're already working to sign him, and it could be happening this summer. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to 300 likes. And in the comment section, I would like to ask you a very simple question. If Arsenal had two options, one is to sign Declan Rice and Julian Brandt, and the other is to sign Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice, which pair would you be going for? One is Caicedo and Declan Rice. The other is Declan Rice and Julian Brandt. And there's a reason as to why I'm asking you this one is we have Declan Rice as our priority. He's the player that Arsenal want. He's the player that Mikel Arteta has made a priority. He says, you give me Declan Rice and another player. We want two central midfielders this summer, according to Gary Jacobs from The Times. Arsenal will try to sign two players in midfield this summer. Caicedo is one of the players we are still looking at, but the two priorities are now Julian Brandt and Declan Rice. So I want you to let me know in the comment box below. Is it Julian Brandt and Declan Rice, or is it Moises Caicedo and Declan Rice? We're going to be breaking those pairs and why I feel like Julian Brandt and Declan Rice is my better option. So let's get into it. First and foremost, let's start off with Moises Caicedo. Now, of course, we know last week, according to Fabrizio Romano, as confirmed, Moises Caicedo signed a new deal until 2027 with Brighton. Now, the deal will see him increase the amount of money he's been actually, earning at the club. As one of the reasons as why he actually signed the new deal, is one of the reasons as to why he wanted to leave the club as well in January. He was telling them that, look, I'm from Ecuador. I'm one of the, I'm one of those guys that are very, very lucky or unlucky. I don't know. I was born with almost 12 siblings, and I've got to take care of them. They're back in Ecuador. So you should let me go. I should be going to a club like Arsenal, a club like Chelsea to earn bread for my family back in Ecuador. And what Brighton are a real genius of a club. Like, the way they are run is purely genius. What they've done here is they've told him there is nothing that is changing in terms of your summer plans. If a club comes in and is willing to pay the money we are asking for, we will let you go. But what they've also done is they've tied him down to a contract until 2027. That is genius. One, they've increased his salary and wages. So literally, even if he doesn't work in the summer, he's a satisfied boy. He's a satisfied, lad. He's earning enough money to take back home and also warm his body, at Brighton. And then Brighton have put themselves in a very good situation where they've gone, if Arsenal come in, we will slap an £80 million asking price on the player. If Arsenal are willing to pay that, then they take him, right? Now, this is a deal that I think affects Caicedo's move. I think this is a deal that will stop many clubs from going for him. I don't see how he signs a new deal in January. Actually, not in January, but he signs a new deal 3 months to the summer, and then he walks in June or July. Like, that would be really, really ridiculous from Brighton. That would be so sensational. But what they've wanted to do is they know come the summer, Moises Caicedo is not going to be happy. He's going to be disgruntled, right? And he will try to force a move out of the club. So what they've done is they've given him a new deal, increased his money, and told him, are you contented with Brighton right now? And he says, yeah, if you're giving me this amount of money, I'm contented, okay? So what Brighton are going to do is they're going to listen to Arsenal, listen to Chelsea. Chelsea offered them around 55 million in January, and Arsenal offered them 70 million pounds in January, and both offers were turned down. So they will listen to Arsenal, they will listen to Chelsea, and if they feel there is one club that has actually satisfied them, they'll go, yeah, you can sign for them, okay? But if there is no club that is actually satisfying them, then they'll keep the player because the player has already signed a new deal and he has more money in the bank account. And how about this? Brighton keep the player for 1 or 2 years, and later he becomes a sensation like N'Golo Kante, and they sell him for 100 million. Look at Aurelien Tchouameni. How much did Aurelien Tchouameni, a player without Premier League experience, cost Real Madrid? That is what Brighton are looking at, and I think that is absolutely sensational and genius. Okay, Moises Caicedo on the other side, I kind of feel like this is a full move for a move for a fool for him. If you want to leave, you're going to add more money at a club like Arsenal or Chelsea. Why sign a new deal with 3 months left to go until the end of the season? Like, don't sign a new deal. Just put on pressure against Brighton, and then in the end, you can live for the money you want. But I thought he wanted to stay respectful to Brighton, and he wanted to show some kind of remorse against those actions in January, and that's why he signed a new deal. But Fabrizio says there is nothing changing about Moises Caicedo. If anything happens, and a club like Chelsea come in and a club like Arsenal come in, they will actually negotiate. Brighton will negotiate. Brighton will be willing to listen to the offers that we have. Should we go in there? I feel like that is a trap. If they've signed him on a new deal until 2027, 3 months to the summer, walk away. Simply walk away. Now, the big story here is Julian Brandt could be moving to Arsenal. Is one of those players that are highly likely will play for Arsenal next season. And I'm saying highly likely. And this is the reason. Now, Arsenal have been watching Julian Brandt for now 2 years. Of course, we know that Mikel Arteta, Edu, when they decide to sign a player, they're either tracking him for some time. It's the same with Leandro Trossard. It's the same with Pedro Neto. It's the same with Moises Caicedo. They look at you for at least a year, at least 6 months, at least 12 months. They look at you and go, this guy can play for us. This guy can fit into the system, Arsenal are trying to play. So Julian Brandt is a player we've been looking at. His contract runs down on June the 30th, 2024. Does that ring any bells? If it doesn't, this is the statement that was released by Borussia Dortmund director Hans-Joachim Watzke. He said, I told the media, I think he was talking to Bild, was he? And he said, with Youssef Moukoko, with Julian Brandt, there are no negotiations for a new deal. If there is anything that we have to announce, we will actually announce it at the right time. We will let you know. Now, of course, players like Ike Gundogan have left Borussia Dortmund for free. Did he work for free or for a bargain? I'm not really sure about that. Going to Manchester City, I think he left for free. Did he? Oh, for a bargain. I'm not really sure about that. I'm not really sure. But it shows you that this is a very, very similar situation. Julian Brandt could walk to Arsenal for 10 million. He could walk to Arsenal for maybe 15 million. Because I think the player has a lot of power in this. The player has a lot of say in this. If he tells Borussia Dortmund, I don't want to stay. I don't want to be at the club in the next year. I want to go and see greener pastures. He's 26. That is the prime. That is where you go for a big move as a player. That is where you want to play for Bayern. That's when you want to play for Manchester City, Man United, Liverpool, Madrid, Barca, Arsenal. That's when you play. That's when you want to play. So he's 26. Contract runs down in 2024. That means he will be 27. And he has a massive opportunity to join a project like Arsenal. Trust me, he's never turning that down. I don't think Julian Brandt is going to refuse playing for Arsenal at any point in time. Now, he's been at Dortmund for 4 years, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2023. This is the 5th year at Borussia Dortmund. This is 2023. And I bet come this summer, he will be leaving. I think Dortmund don't have anything to lose, do they? They have Jude Bellingham who's going to leave. They have a player in Julian Brandt who will leave. But you look at all these other players that they have, I think they will be fine. I think they will be absolutely fine. And we know Borussia Dortmund is not a club that really refuses to sell. As long as you give them the money that they are asking for, as long as you convince them that you are the right buyer, they will always sell to you. So I'm going to say, I'm predicting Julian Brandt will be an Arsenal player next season. Everything points to that. Every single thing points to that. This is a story that has been broken by the biggest outlet in Germany that is built. This is a story that has been jumped on by the biggest journalists, including Fabrizio Romano. And I'm not saying the deal is advanced. I'm not saying Arsenal have agreed terms. I'm not saying anything is done, because a certain Chelsea could hijack the deal. A certain Manchester City could come in there. A certain Man United could come in there. But what I'm saying is, if Arsenal have tracked Julian Brandt for all this time and we are doing the groundwork already, it shows you that we want him. And it shows you that we absolutely mean business. Now, what kind of player is Julian Brandt? Brandt is an attacking midfielder. He can play. He's played as a left winger. He's played as a right winger as well. I'm sorry, we don't need any of your services in those positions. We need you as a central midfielder or as an attacking midfielder. And when you look at what we are doing, Alexander Zinchenko as a midfielder, as a central midfielder, actually, we have two attacking midfield positions left vacant. One occupied by Martin Odegaard, and the other occupied by Granit Xhaka at the moment. What I would love to see at Arsenal is a player like Julian Brandt, an attacking, goal-scoring midfielder, sits in that number. Is it second 10, second 8? I don't care, right? I really, really don't. I want to see him in that position where Xhaka plays. I want to see him create the magic. I want to see him, influence and impact games for us. I want to see him score goals for us. I want people to see that is a position that can do a lot of difference and wonders for Arsenal. Anyone is going to ask me, Cossy, what about Fabio Vieira? Where are you actually living him? I don't think Fabio Vieira is a player that we should be worried about. Vieira is an all-round player, can play as a left winger, right winger. It literally plays everywhere. Now, I would love him to play in that second 8 role, but I think Mikel Arteta has noticed that maybe Vieira might need another season. He will be at Arsenal. I don't think he's in that caliber and bracket of Albert Sambile Congo, where a player is literally not doing well. I don't think it's that. I think it's a little bit different in this regard, right? It's a little bit different. In this regard, we are talking about a player in Vieira who is, showing those glimpses of quality. We're talking about a player in Vieira who just needs to be a little bit more physical. The brains are lit. And if he can get more game time from Mikel Arteta, it's going to be a massive player. It's going to be a massive, massive addition for Arsenal. But Julian Brandt, a player I would like to join the side. Julian Brandt is a genius of a guy. A genius of a guy. Now, this is why I want us to sign Julian Brandt and Declan Rice. So, the Declan Rice deal now makes more sense. After losing 4-0, Declan Rice doesn't deserve that. Declan Rice doesn't need to be there. No questions. Listen, no questions. Julian Brandt shouldn't be playing. Declan Rice shouldn't be excused from what is happening at West Ham right now. Every player must take full responsibility. They are all absolute shite, right? But losing 4-0, he doesn't deserve that. He's one of those players that are going to perform for you very well at the top level. He's one of those players that if you took him to Manchester City, maybe it doesn't elevate them as much, but his performances actually go up. And that's what I think he needs in his career right now. He doesn't need a mediocre move from West Ham to Leicester or from West Ham to Newcastle. Newcastle would be a very, very good side because it's got that kind of longevity around it. And him and Bruno Guimaraes, oh God, right? Save us. But when you play Declan Rice and Partey, when you play Declan Rice and Odegaard, the Premier League are not ready for that combination. They are not. So West Ham potentially now going down. They sit 1 point above relegation. And I think they played 25 games. They have 13 games to go. They sit 1 point above relegation. And that is because Everton failed to win over the weekend. All right? Everton with 22. Leeds United with 22 and West Ham with 23. So that means that if West Ham fail to win any of their next games, they will find themselves in relegation. Actually, 20th Bournemouth, who are 20th on the bottom of the table, are 2 points away from West Ham. It means that if Bournemouth, Southampton, Everton, Leeds win their next games and West Ham don't, West Ham would be at the bottom of the Premier League. In my opinion, something that wouldn't be very, very good for them. Now, they've tried to market Declan Rice. They've tried to say, well, look, he's 100 million. He's a player that we won't let go for this for less than this amount of money. But when they go down, this is what Arsenal are looking at. Arsenal are saying, you are not selling for less than 100, but when you go down, it's a different question. When you go down, he will want nothing to do with you. Forget all this player loyalty and all thing. Look, Declan Rice will not be part of West Ham when they go down. I bet he will be part of them, even if they barely survive relegation. He's not part of, he will want nothing to do with them. And that's why that deal actually now makes more sense. Because I was asking myself, why are Arsenal hell-bent on signing Declan Rice? This is the best deal for Arsenal. Defiant player, doesn't want to stay. The team has already accepted that the player won't stay, and the team is going into relegation. If they go into relegation, yes, we've signed a 30 million goalkeeper from Sheffield United, but Ramsdale didn't have contract issues with Sheffield. Rice has contract issues with Sheffield. So for me, the duo should be Brandt and Declan Rice, because Brandt is a starter at Arsenal right now. He starts at Arsenal right now. Decaz could start, maybe doesn't start right away. I think he would be starting in the next season after next season, right? The following season after next season. But I think Decaz and Julian Brandt would be a nice addition to the side. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. I really, really do appreciate. Do you think Declan Rice is a good buy for Arsenal? Do you think maybe Arsenal should just go for Caicedo and Julian Brandt? Because Caicedo covers for Partey well, and then Julian Brandt covers for Xhaka well. I mean, it would be a very, very nice combination, but I think Declan Rice would be a much better option. I'll see you right in the next one. Subscribe to the 90 More Podcast. You should watch my new video that I've actually put out, the weekend audit, where we've talked about each and every game in the weekend. It's a massive video because Man United lost 7-0. So it's a massive video. Watch it.